But we want to take you back to Brussels and bring you the word from very close to the scene. We had Tesa Arcilla with us earlier at the airport, but she has repositioned for us now right very close to the EU headquarters and very close to the subway station, the Malbec station, where that second blast site was. So Tesa, number one, well, let's start exactly where you are. Of course, that makes sense to start with your location. What are you seeing and hearing there in the aftermath of the subway explosion?
Well, let me just tell you where I am. It is significant because we're in front of the European Council. We're being asked to move and evacuate by a police officer. This is actually the building where EU leaders gather every time there is a summit, and only 10 minutes away from here, with only a park dividing these two areas, is actually the Canadian Embassy, and the station where the explosion happened is just over there. Now, it is completely blocked, and I think the authorities are still trying to clear the area. It is eerily quiet. Aside from the members of the press, the police and soldiers, that is all we can see right now. I have spoken to some witnesses who saw and were there in the station when the explosion happened. They said it was complete chaos. They didn't exactly know which part of the train it came from, but then they were led to an underground part of the station to be led out through another station. So let me just tell you how important this area is, because this is a main road where cars go through, where a lot of people take this line of the train because it leads up to a crossing. So I can tell you that during rush hour, it is extremely full. So as for the latest in terms of the number of raids that are going on here, number of controlled explosions as well. I heard from local media as well as sources in the security services that indeed they have found several suspicious packages in different locations. They've also found a Kalashnikov as well as a suicide belt at the location at the airport. Now, I know there may have been other suspicious packages at the airport, that there were a total of 2 explosions over there. Now we're being asked to leave by the security forces, so I will have to move a little bit from this location.
Okay, so we'll reconnect with you a little bit later on. But Tesa, thank you very much. You can't talk as you're moving. I guess we have to.
I can.
You can. Okay.
That's all right with you.
It's absolutely fine, because I do have more questions for you. So we talked about the word that we're getting is, again, as you highlighting, that the Army explosive units doing those controlled explosions. That's what's going on at the airport. We're also hearing word that the nuclear plant has been evacuated. That there is concern about the integrity, the security of the nuclear plant. Are you hearing anything there?
Well, I've heard that also from local media. And just to show you a bit of the background, you can see the soldiers coming in. We've been asked to move. I mean, we were allowed to stay here a little bit earlier. Okay. Now, I've heard a bit about the nuclear power plant, that it's been evacuated. Nothing more than that. But I think really everybody is not taking any precautions. And I think the sense of urgency in the voices of the authorities now indicate to us that there may be some other operation, or they tell us that it is not safe where we are. They did the same at the airport, moved us to an area and just told us it is because they don't feel it is completely safe yet. Okay.
Can I ask you if we can still keep our connection?
Sure.
It's still pretty good at this point. Some of the questions, we just had a news conference from our Foreign Affairs Minister, and he was asked whether perhaps Belgium let down its guard after the arrest on Friday of Salah Abdeslam, the most wanted man. Did the security have a lapse of any kind? Or, the broader question of, here's a country that was almost at the highest level of alert. It now is, but it almost was. What does this say about intelligence failures, counterterrorism efforts, the difficulty of confronting a threat? Any more broad sort of security context you can share?
I mean, the Belgian authorities have indeed been receiving a lot of criticism, especially after they lost the prime suspect in the Paris attack several times before they managed to arrest him this week. However, to say that the guard was let down, I'm not sure that is entirely accurate as well, because although the public may not be aware of all the raids going on, the sources that I know from within the security services, the police, do keep us abreast of operations, although they can't tell us details, that they do continue. So I don't think that they completely let the guard down, but perhaps there may have been a lapse in sharing of intelligence, because there are several different groups of intelligence services here, whether they be in the army, in the police force, in the special force, in the anti-terrorism group. So perhaps, as it is in other countries, there is that gap in sharing of intelligence in order to be more effective and efficient in carrying out their operations.
Okay, Tessa, terrific work. Thank you very much. Appreciate speaking to you this morning.